Okay, so that takes us to the next step. So once we know what it is we want to do, then we need to figure out where are we going to do it. And well, let me ask you again, show of hands or just a simple yes or no in the chat. How many of you can you list for me right now 10 companies or organizations that you want to work for? Anybody able to do that? Yeah, that's typical of what the response I get as well. Silence. Gertrude, good, you've got 5. You're halfway there. I'm glad to see it. Right. So Joni, what's your question? I'm assuming that face is you're not sure. What's your question? 2 or 3, Kathy? Okay, good. So we want to be able to help the people that we're networking with help us. And if we can't give them the names of the companies we want to work for, it's much more difficult for them to answer or to help us by giving us contacts that they know, by introducing us to hiring managers, by sharing with us open job opportunities that would be appropriate, right? So we need to define who are the organizations we want to work for. And once we know that list, then we can very systematically go through them so that we make sure we connect with every single one of those organizations and don't miss any and get every opportunity that's possible out of those organizations. So the organizations or the target list has 3 different variables: the location where you want to work, the industry that you want to work in, and the role or function that you want to have. So we've already defined in our Ikigai what function we want. Now we need to know what industry do you want to work and where do you want to work. And this is an opportunity for you to really dream and open up to all possibilities, no matter how unrealistic they may be. But you want to list all of those target options for you in terms of these 3 variables. Anytime you change one variable, you've created another whole set of target markets. I'll use myself as a quick example, unless someone would like to volunteer to quick run through what would be your target markets. Bueller. Okay, so mine would be this. My role or function would be as career services advisor or manager. So now I've got 2 roles or functions. The industry would be higher education, post-secondary education. And in terms of locations, I would like first to work in northern New Jersey, even more specifically within about 10 or 15 miles from my home. If I can't work within that 10 or 15 mile circle, then I would expand that to the northern third geographically of the state of New Jersey. And if that's not going to work, then I'd be happy to go to eastern Pennsylvania, the Lehigh Valley and the Poconos. I do not want to go to Manhattan. It's equidistant to get to Manhattan as it is to get to the Poconos, but I don't want to go to Manhattan. I do want to go to the Poconos. Right, so I've got those 3 locations. We can always, at this point in the world, add a 4th location, which would be hybrid or remote as a potential location. So I've got 3 locations, I've got 1 industry, and I've got 2 job titles. So 15 miles from home, higher education, career advisor, 15 miles from home, higher education, career manager. Northern New Jersey, higher education, career advisor, Northern New Jersey, higher education, career department manager. So you see how you're using those variables and you're creating different target markets. The next step then is to do the research to figure out who are all the organizations that fit into each one of those target markets. I also would prioritize them so that I'm working on the ones that are most important to me first. Questions right now, anyone?
Paul, can you just say something more about how a person would prioritize which ones are most important to them?
You know, Milry, that's a great question. And the truth is, the answer is totally up to you. You know, I could include Manhattan or New York City as a location. It certainly is, you know, within commuting distance, and I'd probably make a lot more money working in Manhattan, right? So I could add that as a fourth location, but I would lower the priority of that and make it my least priority. Whereas 15 miles from home, that's going to be my highest priority, right? Now, I have some clients who would say, I don't care if it's 15 miles from home. I've got obligations at home that require that I work remotely. So my first option is remote work. My second option would be 15 miles from home, because at least then I could get home if I had to in an emergency, right? So it's completely up to you how you choose to prioritize those. Good question.